Welcome to the USFL Today. I'm your host, Angelo Fioris. Make sure to follow the USFL Today account on Twitter at USFL Today. And make sure you visit our YouTube channel, also at USFL Today. That's where you're going to find all of our great shows and podcasts and all the other content that you're used to getting from the USFL Today. I'm really excited to bring on my first guest to the USFL Today show. He's an all-USFL performer. He led the league in interceptions, and he's returning for his second season with the Philadelphia Stars, none other than Mr. Channing Stribling. Channing, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. You're a tough guy to grab a hold of. I won't say that it was easy to get you here.
Oh yeah, nah. Twitter, like a lot of people have contacted me on Twitter just asking, to do interviews. I'm always willing to do interviews for sure. I'm never really on Twitter that much. Unless I'm just on there. I'm on there just for like the jokes and stuff. So I rarely check messages or anything. So I gotta get better with that. But yeah.
Let's lead off with what I think is the biggest news, right? Which is you were drafted by the XFL, but you made the decision to return to the USFL. Tell me what the thought process was and, what led you to say I'm returning for year two?
First and foremost, I thank the Battlehawks for drafting me. Definitely another great opportunity. I just felt like it was a better opportunity just for myself, just to be back with the guys who started it. Just with these spring leagues, it's good to have that chemistry. A lot of the leagues, I've been in all of them, basically all of them. So I've only been with a team for 1 year. So being with Bart, this would be technically my third time with him. I was with him in the spring league. So
right.
I know a couple of them. But I think the biggest one for me was I feel like I was supposed to be doing what I'm doing right now at the moment and not, playing ball per se. It's kind of the decision that had to be selfless, couldn't be selfish. So right now I'm coaching and training in Atlanta, Georgia. A couple athletes just in the area. Coach at North Atlanta High School. So it was I just felt like I was supposed to be here. I was supposed to be, being around the guys, coaching and everything. So that was ultimately my decision to kind of be there at the moment.
I like what you said about the idea of returning and the chemistry and how this is really the first time a spring league is even offering a second year to its players in 40 years, Channing. So no one else has yet expressed it the way you just did, which is it's a chance to really start to build something with the guys that we started it with.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So out of 40 years, 40 years of spring ball, it's the first time. It feels good. I mean, so we go to college. You're in college for a couple of years. Professionally, you're on a couple teams. Even being young, high school, middle school, you're on a team. Just being familiar with the players for a couple of years. So it's good that in the spring football you're able to do that.
And when I look at your resume after your college career, you haven't really had that opportunity yet to build on that chemistry because you had multiple NFL stops, I think about 7, twice in Indianapolis. You had the couple stints in Hamilton. You had the spring league with the Generals, ironically, and then the one season here in Philadelphia, and now the second year. So quite a roadmap, and only the first time with back-to-back stamps in the same city.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it felt good to be just with another team for at least 2 years. So
so that's going to be pretty exciting because as we head into the second year, you guys established yourselves as a really excellent team. You had the first half where felt like you guys were learning who each other was. Plus, you had the quarterback injury, and that was unsettled for a few weeks. But once week 6 kicked in, all the way through to the playoffs, you guys were about as good as any other unit in the league, I felt.
Yeah. I think around that time we cut distractions. Just had a few distractions. At that time, everybody was in Birmingham. So it was just a lot going on, just being in the same city with all the teams, just getting acclimated everywhere, finding where to stay. And there was just a lot. So around week 6, that's when, we cut the distractions, just kind of, said as a team, let's lock in. We have a great team. We can do what we got to do to get to a championship and ultimately win one. So that was around that time where we made that decision.
Yeah, and you went on that four game run where you won every game. You lost the Week 10 game to the Generals, which was kind of inconsequential anyway because the playoff matchup was set for the week
Yeah.
later, and then of course the playoff game against New Jersey and the championship game. You had an amazing season. You were all over the place on defense. You led the league with 7 picks, and in only 7 games too, which was even more impressive by you. I can't imagine what your numbers would have been like had you gotten in all 10 games during the season.
Yeah, yeah, right. But I felt good about it. Feel like I did more, just as a player. So it's kind of like the next step going, just kind of building off that season, just kind of doing more.
Who was your main man on the team, like in the locker room, on the team? Who did you kind of hang with most?
I think it was just anybody. Like I think the best part, just about our team is that we were very tight knit as a whole unit. Um, More specifically, obviously the DBs. We hung out together and as a unit. But just everyone for real. Like there's not anybody on the team where I couldn't go, get something to eat with, get something to drink with or anything. So I think that was kind of just the best part. Just knowing everyone on your team is kind of a rarity. So yeah, that was kind of ultimately to kind of decision of why going back because I really like the guys. There's a lot of guys I talked to, just via social media. Our DBs, we still have a whole group chat. So yeah, so we just kind of communicate almost every day. So just everybody really. I would say the favorites obviously the DBs for sure. Everyone in the DB room for sure.
Right. You spend the most time with those guys. So
Right.
yeah. Let me ask you. So out of the entire season, and there was a lot of moments, which one stands out for you the most that you think about and you're like, wow.
Probably the Generals game and the championship game, the playoff game. I just felt like a lot was against us. Um, I think I had said on another interview that the Generals were kind of like the Cowboys of our league. Like everyone loves the Cowboys, so
Right.
everyone loves the Generals. I had the coach, they had the MVP, offensive player, good defense. So I think just that having everything against us, felt just like it felt good. It just felt great to be in that position. Just sort of being an underdog. Nobody really thinks you're going to win. They already accepting Generals to play in the championship. So yeah, I think though that moment was a big one, and then the championship game, just seeing just Canton lit up just with Philly fans. So I was just like, yeah, it's crazy because we've been in Birmingham, it's Birmingham fans, but nah, we went to Canton was a lot of fans there for sure. So just those two moments were definitely one of my favorites for sure.
So I was there in Canton for both weeks as well. And so I'll kind of add in my thoughts to what you just said, right? Which was I thought it was very cool that there was finally contingents of fans for all 4 teams, right? And we were seeing the kind of support which we hadn't seen for 10 weeks, really, right? So that was a lot of fun and added an element that we didn't know what was going to evolve from that. Getting back to the first game, though, the playoff game, the one thing that was evident from the stands, and I've mentioned this to some of your teammates too, the Stars, all of you guys, came out with a level of emotion and you played with, you were just tuned up that much higher than the Generals were. And it was felt from the get go. I think even during warmups, you just kind of felt it. And when the game started and you guys sort of took it to New Jersey, especially defensively,
Mm-hmm.
they did not have an answer for you guys, not emotionally and not with anything that they could come up from their playbook.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy. One of the coaches, he coached, I think, the receivers with them. And then when I went to Washington, he was there kind of interning a little bit. I had kind of talked to him. I was like, yeah, you guys kind of went away from y'all's normal game plans to run the ball. But he was just like, me, hey, we just tried to kind of, do something different. But yeah, I had told all the guys before the game, it's like my thing for me is always play a game like it's your last. This will be the last time you ever play football. And I think for me, I've been there. It's kind of like COVID per se. XFL was done.
Right.
Football was done for a while. I was going to Canada. They canceled Canada. So that feeling of, this could be my last time playing football is scary per se, just because it's, we love the game. We're still active, we're still doing it. So play every game like it's your last game. So, give it your all. And I think that was kind of like the big message, at least for the DB and the DB room, just saying like, yeah, this could be your last game for sure. So, play like it will be your last. But it was just, that I felt like I said, the disrespect I'll say for towards us was our fuel for sure.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people weren't paying attention to the previous 5 weeks, especially.
Right.
And
Yeah.
And you guys proved a lot of people wrong, myself included. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
But and congratulations to you guys, because it was just an excellent season, and that championship game was a coin flip till the end. I mean, you guys were toe to toe with Birmingham, and if you had another few minutes, who knows what would have happened, right?
Yeah. It was definitely a good time for sure. I think because I know a couple guys on that team, and every time I see them, I always talk about it. Like, yeah, you guys thought you were gonna win. I was talking crazy, but just that whole just energy of just competition was definitely great during the championship or playoff run. Just with against teams, against coaches, and everything. So
yeah, you definitely felt the heat was turned up once everybody got to Canton. And I don't mean that. And it was hot, really hot that day, like temperature wise, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it was really hot, as hot as Birmingham. I felt like that playoff day.
Midwest, yeah. During the summer, yeah, it can get hot for sure.
Yeah, it was that day. You mentioned, and this is true, you mentioned to your teammates, play it like it's your last game, and you took that approach. And that's even more the case with a spring league, because there was no promise that the USFL was coming back for 2023 at that point. And again, going back to that point, which is that this is the first time really that a spring league's given a second opportunity. What have you been doing in the off season to stay in shape, get tuned up, be, focused on the task? What's your workouts like? How do you manage your off season?
For me, I've based like my workouts through my training athletes. So I'll kind of basically just, when they work out, when I train them, I train with them. So they'll be able to see, what a professional athlete kind of works out like, what it looks like, weight room, on the field and everything. So those are kind of like the biggest things, just working out wise. Figuring out the workout schedule was kind of difficult because I didn't know if I wanted to go XFL or USFL. So workout style is a little different. Just technically not an off season per se, because after the season, I signed with Washington. There's always that wait for the call. So you don't want to burn yourself out, but at the same time, you want to make sure you stay in shape. So that's probably really the hardest thing for athletes just in this springtime deal, when you had an opportunity to go forth to the league. So workout schedule's kind of just been I kind of almost all over the place. When I train, that's when I work out, but it's also not to the extent of an off-season workout. So it's kind of just been ongoing, more injury prevention more than anything. I feel like I've been blessed to not have any serious injury. So I think that's kind of towards, the injury prevention type of workout that it's more of staying in shape, balance, and everything like that.
Core stuff, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You make a great point, and I wouldn't have thought of it until you just mentioned it, which is you weren't sure where you were going to be playing quite yet. And when you're an athlete, a professional athlete, there's different phases that you run your workouts through. A couple months doing this, couple months doing this. And at some point there has to be sort of the recovery phase, which you sort of just described, right? But if you thought training camp was going to be in February, then you sort of had to be ready in a training camp shape for February. But now you dial it back, and now training camp's in like mid-March. So it feels like it leaves your fitness in a limbo almost. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I think for anybody who signed back to the USFL after the season had kind of a more, we're able to have a structured workout at that point because they knew. But for the guys who had NFL opportunities, just things like that, wanted just want to, or we're free agents now, so they don't know if they want to do XFL or USFL. So that's where, yeah, that structure of scheduling is kind of just all over the place. But yeah, once you kind of figure out what you want to do, and it's hard to do that, just because, you know, like I said, you have an opportunity to be in the NFL. Like your first option will obviously be NFL.
Right.
So just that's where things are just kind of like, yeah, like all over the place. But you know, it's good to still have that just in the back of your mind, just knowing, you know, time frame wise of working out and everything. So, but yeah, my workouts have probably been more injury prevention type of deals more than just kind of high powered, you know, workouts and everything. So,
Right. Tell me about the coaching that you do. Yeah. Who comes to you? Who says, you know, I want to train, Channing, show me what you got. Give me a sense of that.
So it's me and another USFL player, Tyson Graham. We coach defensive backs and receivers in the area. We started kind of just doing with high school. He was coaching, you know, at North Atlanta High School, asked me to come along. So I ended up, you know, coming and coaching. And then, we started with a couple guys. We did 7-on-7. So we started with those guys, went to the high school level. I'll have guys that I either play with or, you know, watch me play, or I've watched them play. You know, they, you know, ask, you know, can I come work out with you or something, things like that. So,
Right.
Yeah. So it's just more of that. For me, the base model that I wanted to follow was, you know, how I got to where I'm at now. If you were to, you know, look back at a time when I was coming out of high school, like I wasn't a big time recruit. You know, I played 3 sports, so there was never any camp. I didn't do any camps, showcases or anything. I didn't do any specific, you know, football style workouts. You know, I was just kind of just a guy out there just playing ball. So I think helping kids or guys that are kind of at that level, just don't know, like, you know, don't know if they're going to go. I didn't know I was going to go to Michigan. Like that wasn't, you know, I'm from the South, so I didn't know anything about Michigan. So
Right.
Just my senior year, now I'm at Michigan. So just giving kids that ability to, you know, just have that opportunity that, you know, they didn't know what would happen. And not saying that I would be the reason for it, but, you know, just kind of put them in the step towards that. Or any guys that, you know, are playing just anywhere to get them to the next level, NFL or, you know, wherever league they want to get to. So that's kind of like the base model. But yeah, that's kind of who I like to train. I would say, like, obviously I'm not gonna, you know, reject any 5-star or anything, but
Sure.
yeah, I'll definitely train just guys that are willing to, you know, have that hunger to play ball. So
guys that you can relate to because your experience was the same.
Yeah. So I can specifically say, you know, you probably either need to do this, and this, or just suggestions of this, and this to be able to get there. It's not promise, not, you know, saying that you do this, you'll get to Michigan or anything, but, you know, you follow the basic steps of, you know, technique, mindset, things like that. You'll put yourself in a better position to where when the opportunity comes, you'll be able to get it for sure.
It's like offering a blueprint.
Yeah, basically, yeah. A lot of people will kind of, it's almost like it's hard for us to look back at ourselves and, you know, see ourselves at a level where we probably weren't good at all. As coaches, trainers, you know, we try to, you know, insert that expertise at the level we're at right now, and not thinking about, you know, at 18, I wasn't training. I wasn't doing, you know, specific training. I was probably terrible. My technique probably was terrible, as I remember. So I can't sit here and tell a kid like, your technique's probably not here, NFL status, so you might have to go to a D3 or a JUCO. No, it's just at that time, at that point, you know, you'll be able to see the main characteristic that I find is that hunger, the willingness to want to do this, even when it's hard, even when you don't want to. Because at that time in high school, it's like you don't have to, you know, do extra, really. Like it's just kind of like you go to school, you go to practice, and then you go home. That was kind of like what I did. I went to practice, but I went home. So kids that kind of have that want to, you know, ask me every day, oh, are we training today? We working out today? Or, you know, what are we working on today? So once I have that, then I'm good. I'm good to go.
Right. You know, you got their buy-in, and that's the kind of kid you want to work with.
Yeah.
Got it. Very cool. Hey, does it excite you to be, looks like the Stars are going to be playing in Detroit this year.
Yeah.
or in the Detroit area. So you psyched to be back in Michigan for
Oh
at
yeah,
least
for
5 home
sure.
games or what?
Yes, sir, for sure. Yeah. I think just being able to have that fan base will kind of just, help a little bit. And just being able to play there. I still have a lot of biggest thing for me that I've been appreciative of Michigan, just in general, just the fans that kind of appreciated me in my time there. Like I said, I wasn't a high profile guy, kind of just a guy that kind of just did a job and went home. So just having fans still have that love for me still playing ball and everything, and now I'll be able to be at home. So yeah, I think it'd definitely be fun.
Yeah, I think you're going to be seeing a lot of number eights in the
Oh
stands
yeah,
of
oh yeah, for
blue
sure.
and yellow, as well as the Stars
Yeah,
colors
yeah.
too.
They didn't have any number 8 jerseys then, so we might have some now for sure.
They got that's funny, right? They got them now. They didn't have them then, huh?
Yeah.
What non-football question? What's your favorite movie?
Old school. I'm an old school guy, so top 3: Space Jam, The Wood, um, The Sixth Man was my favorite movie. I haven't watched it in a while. The Best Man. Those are old classics. So,
You are maybe the second or third player to reference The Wood
oh yeah,
when asked that question.
oh yeah,
And
for sure.
I finally did check it out after the second guys. I'm like, all right, I gotta watch this movie, The Wood, because I had never heard of it before, and I
Right,
was like,
right.
oh, now I see why these guys love it, because it's such a throwback film, and
Yeah,
it just gives you that that like mid '90s vibe, right? And it's a cool movie. People should
yeah,
watch that
yeah.
film if they haven't seen it. The Wood is a
Oh
good
yeah,
movie.
yeah. The Wood, yeah. Just brotherhood. Just somebody's getting married. Everything is that's kind of like I guess that's how it goes. I moved around a lot, so I resumed myself to Michael, just moving, to a different place. Like you don't know what's going on here. So
Tell me about the time you first walked into Stars training camp, and none of you guys really, maybe you knew a couple of guys, but none of you guys really knew each other. How quickly did you guys evolve into banding together in a sense? Was it fast, or was everybody kind of eyeing each other up a little and feeling each other out, or did it click quickly?
so I'd say with our team, like I said, we were very familiar. Um, I knew Brian Scott. I knew Amani Dennis. I had knew of Cody Brown. We've all been in the same leagues together. Um, you don't know Bezo. He's number 3. I call him Bezo, but I knew Bezo just from guys that I knew from New Orleans. Um, and just everybody included, like we kind of already knew each other. So it was just more of, we're coming together as one. And I think, um, yeah, just probably week 1. I mean, we knew of each other, we knew each other. So I think that, yeah, like week 1 is where, we started kind of just, figuring each other out, knowing each other. I think week 2, probably, I think it was, no, was it week 2? Yeah, probably week 2, week 3, or yeah, week 2. There's one like a 2 week, 2 or 3 week camp, but yeah, probably week 2, you start to, you start to butt heads, and that's where you start to really know your guys. Because like I said, I knew Bezo, I knew Amani, but to a point where we're, you know, trying to figure this out, you have your moments of butting heads and having questions and things like that. So I think that's what comes with, just a team that you really haven't been with. So yeah, probably see those first few weeks for sure.
Then you find out who the guys are you can count on when it gets
Yeah,
tough. And
I think that's where everything started to click because, we had a lot of guys that you can really just ride with for sure when it comes to the battle, trusting each other, believing each other, just all of that. When you kind of have that formula, and that's where, like I said, week 6, kind of like where we kind of accumulated everything.
yeah, I mean, you guys truly clicked at that point. No one knew it yet, but it started to happen
Right,
at that stage. I think it actually
right.
started the week before, even though you guys lost the week 5 game. It was a tough one, which you could have won just as easily as you lost it. And
Yeah,
that springboarded you through the second half. It was a pretty impressive
right.
second half. Any big predictions for 2023?
Not really any predictions. I expected us to um, increase our productivity from last year, just from knowing each other. I think when I talked to a lot of guys last year, working out wasn't really the forefront. of everything. Just being in shape. Not being in shape is kind of one thing, but fine tuning yourself wasn't kind of the biggest thing because a lot of, at that point, nobody was really playing. Like I think before then, was it COVID before then? No, it wasn't COVID before then. But a lot of guys didn't know what the USFL was, and a lot of us had been in all of these leagues so far. So it was just kind of like, okay, like we don't know what to expect. So I think this year, a lot of us will be in a lot better shape, a lot better mindset, knowing going into it, knowing the coaching, knowing the scheme and everything. So I think we'll just be more fine tuned, just technically.
That's interesting that you mentioned, like, now knowing that there's the second season, that almost like it's a deeper mental commitment in a sense where you're like more bought in sort of, because here we are, we're still here.
Yeah. And I think the base model from where the NBA has like the G League, they have their developmental league. You have leagues overseas. I feel like around after COVID, a little bit before COVID, is where kind of the first time where people are saying these spring leagues are important. These are the leagues that we actually need, just for development, for entertainment, just things like that. So knowing that there's security for football for year two wasn't kind of the biggest thing that we had questions on. I mean, we finished the season, we knew there was gonna be another season, but
yeah,
just, different things that we were expecting for the season, kind of came to fruition. So yeah, I think the kind of getting confirmation of a year or two, and even like I said, even the XFL, not spring football is good. I'm not saying XFL is bad or USFL is bad. I think they're it's good. That's open jobs, more jobs. So
that's how I see it. More jobs for players. And I don't think in the history of football there's been a better time to be a player in terms of job opportunity because of what you just mentioned. There's a USFL, there's an XFL, there is the European Football League, there's the Mexican Football League, and all of these places are opportunities to get coached up, develop, and make a couple dollars too, and just to keep playing ball for a few years after school, because you're still in shape and you're still young and you just want to jam, right?
Yeah. So that's definitely the best opportunity now, to just be playing ball. So yeah.
Channing Stribling, thanks for coming on the show, man. I appreciate you being the first guest of USFL Today. You're awesome. I wish you luck in the next season, and hope you guys have as good a year as you did last year. Maybe you let the Generals win the playoff game this year.
Thank you for having me, for sure.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Channing Stribling, the all-USFL interceptions leader on the USFL Today. That's this week's episode. I appreciate you all listening. Next week, we're going to have another top USFL star on USFL Today. I'm Angelo Fioris. Thanks for listening.